Call the July 8th Hayes City Commission meeting to order at 6:30. All commissioners are present. Minutes of the meeting of June 24th. Changes, additions, corrections?
I have none.
Citizen comments. Consent agenda. The only item on the consent agenda is a cereal malt beverage license for Downtown Hayes Development Corporation. I believe it's for August 27th for the Brews on the Bricks event that we're looking forward to having this year.
I move we accept the consent agenda. Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Burgess, that we approve the consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Lincoln Tunnel Lining Award of Bid, Mr. John Brown.
Good evening, Commissioners. I am John Brown, the project manager for the City of Hayes, and I'll talk to you tonight about the Lincoln Tunnel Lining Project. The Lincoln Tunnel conveys stormwater through the heart of the city from 19th and Lincoln to the Montgomery Ditch at the Union Pacific Railroad. The tunnel winds its way under the downtown areas following the old creek bed that was filled in during the 1920s when the tunnel was constructed. And much of the town subsequently built over the top of it. The Lincoln Draw Tunnel is a storm sewer pipe constructed of glazed red clay tile mortared together into a circular tunnel approximately 72 inches in diameter and 1 mile long. The tunnel is inspected annually by city staff, and for our 100-year-old structure, it's still in pretty decent shape. However, due to its location and the nature of its function, the city cannot risk allowing it to deteriorate. The cost to remove or replace the tunnel is extreme. Therefore, it must be maintained to last as long as possible. The types of deterioration that currently exist include sagging of the crown, which results in a crack opening along the top of the pipe, horizontal fractures of the pipe that typically occur in the lower quarter corners, and tiles missing their faces, and deteriorating storm sewer tap connections. In 2009, the city spent about $600,000 on repairs to the tunnel. Most visible to the public at that time was the replacement of a section under the intersection of 15th and Main, right out here in front of the City Hall. But the project also included lining approximately 1,500 lineal feet of the tunnel, which is depicted here with the thick red lines. And the picture up in the corner shows the application of the epoxy liner at that time. Here's another picture that shows the epoxy liner installed. And the epoxy lining has held up quite well over the last 12 years. Therefore, the capital improvement plan within the 2021 budget includes $750,000 to line an additional 2,000 feet of the tunnel, as shown here with the thick green lines. The project also calls for the removal of 2 obstructions that are caused by city water mains that penetrate the tunnel. Those are depicted with the pink squares here. One is on 17th Street, and the other is at 12th and Pine. So the one at the 200 block of West 17th Street is right along the north side of the road, and the one at 12th and Pine is pretty much right in the middle of the intersection, or the west side of the intersection.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Can you go back? With that line going through there, I mean, did they not know it was there when it goes through there, or how does that happen?
Probably somebody at that particular time thought it wouldn't be a problem. And, you know, the thing about it is, I mean, I don't know of a particular horror story, except for that we routinely go in and pull tree branches out
right.
that are stuck in between the top of the pipe and the top of the tunnel. Were a large tree branch to get stuck in there and cause a backup, I think that would be problematic. So also removing them, should improve the hydraulic carrying capacity of the tunnel as well, at least in that area. Plus, I keep bumping my head on it every time I go in to inspect, so.
Yeah.
John, what kind of interruption will we have in water service to our customers when that's?
It'll be minimal, probably just a couple hours during a day. So going in and prepping it and then actually shutting the water, cutting the pipe and reconnecting it should be able to be accomplished within one working day. So, and we always make those notifications, let people know so they're not planning, they can do their laundry on a different day or whatever the case might be. But, so,
And do you contact those people individually?
yes.
Thank you.
So basically, the water line will be rerouted to go underneath the tunnel rather than through it. Bids were opened on June the 15th. Valid bids were received from utility maintenance contractors of Wichita and A&W Maintenance out of North Kansas City, Missouri. All bids were reviewed by city staff, and the low bid from utility maintenance contractors in the amount of $869,365 has been determined to be the valid low bid. The proposal submitted by the low bidder calls for construction to begin in September and be completed within 6 months. Inspection of the project would be completed in-house by the Office of Project Management. The capital improvement plan within the 2021 budget, as I mentioned before, included $750,000 for the lining of the Lincoln Tunnel to be funded out of the Stormwater Reserve. Due to increases in material and labor prices from COVID and other economic conditions, the low bid is over the $750,000 budgeted for this project. And since there is adequate funding in the Stormwater Reserve to fund the $869,000 low bid, staff recommends awarding the full amount of the bid. If the commission chooses to stay within the original budget, only 1,600 lineal feet would be rehabbed rather than the planned 2,000 lineal feet. So the options would be to approve the contract with utility maintenance contractors in the amount not to exceed $750,000, or approve a contract with utility maintenance contractors in the amount not to exceed the $869,365, or direct staff to another option. And the action requested is on the screen, and I stand for questions.
I move we authorize the city manager to enter a contract with utility maintenance contractors in an amount not to exceed $869,365 for the lining of the Lincoln Tunnel to be funded out of the Stormwater Reserve.
I'll second.
Been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Melick to approve the action as requested. Any other comments, questions, concerns?
John, we have had a collapse of a sewer tunnel on 12th Street a number of years ago, correct? And we had to dig that up completely.
That is correct. We put in new, I think it was a 42-inch line, and it connects directly to the tunnel. And yes, we ran a new line underneath 12th Street. Yeah, it was a little bit scary. It was quite a cavity underneath there. It was an old corrugated metal pipe, and it had started coming apart and then washing out it was bedded in sand, which allowed it to deteriorate pretty quickly. Once it was opened up, then the sand kind of washed out.
I remember that was a 100 block of East 12th, and how long that took to dig that out, and there was no traffic able to. So, I mean, this is a good deal to be proactive on that, so we don't have other places that are caving in.
Absolutely.
Later on.
No, my only comment, I asked some questions last week about the 2009 project for this and budgeting, and those were all adequately answered. I think all the commissioners were emailed the information, so I appreciate that was given to us, and so I don't have any further questions.
Okay, if there's no other questions, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Commissioners.
I just want to thank the residents for doing their best to follow the rules on July 4th or 2nd through the 4th. I think it was no big issues, Toby. Sounds like we had a young man have a little bit of damage to his hand, which is terrible, but that's the issues you can have with fireworks. But overall, it seemed like it was a pretty good weekend, and our town was hopping. It was nice to see.
I have nothing this evening.
I have nothing.
I too would like to thank the community for not only abiding by the rules, but for the cleanup process afterwards. And I can't speak for all over, but I took the time the next morning to drive around. In fact, found kids out cleaning it up and stopped and talked to a couple of them and thanked them for what they were doing. I think everybody tried to take a really hard look at the mess that was made. I know in our area we had, I bet it was that thick with paper stuff at the end. I kept watching the dollars blow up as
Yeah.
they went up in
Yeah.
the air. But we thank the community for everything they did.
Yep.
We're adjourned. Oh, we didn't need executive session. I never asked that. I always forget to ask that.
I'll let you know if we do.
Okay.